We're going to the moon today. We're going to the moon. And to the moon today. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon today. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon today. Going to the moon. Going to the moon today. We're going to the moon. Look at that. Going to the moon today. Look at the moon. Motherfucking moon today. Look at fucking moon. Get it on, get it on, get it on tonight. Get it on, get it on, get it on, alright. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what I should do. Don't know what I should do. I don't know what's good. Don't know what I should do. Should I do? Maybe I'll just start it this way. I'll just do it right. Like I do every day. Yeah, I'll just do it right. Yeah. Whoa, brother. Whoa, brother. Whoa, brother. Calm down. Calm yourself down, man. Come on, brother. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's go, brother. Yeah. Still feel like, yeah. That looks proper. That looks proper. Looks proper. Looks proper. Well, today I'm watching the moon. Today I'm not watching chat. I'm watching moon. We'll be watching moon today. We're going to the moon today. We're going to the moon. Playing the guitar and I'm going to the moon. Going to the moon today. I'm playing the guitar. Going to the moon today. I'm playing the guitar. That guitar right there I play. I am going to play it. Nah, there's 11 people and there is 11 people in the chat. I'm gonna go and watch the fucking moon. I am gonna watch the moon all day long today. And it's gonna be great to watch the moon. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Maybe they'll blow up. Maybe they'll blow up and die. There'll be bodies everywhere. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe there'll be blood. Maybe they'll die today. Maybe they'll find some kind of aliens on the fucking moon. Maybe they will find that shit and then they'll freaking die. I really hope not, because they are really swell guys. There's a lady up there too. She is really cool. She's the first lady to go and all around the moon. Yeah! We're going to the moon today. We're going to the moon. Oh, oh. Yeah. smokes. Go to the moon, bro. Oh. Whew. Oh my God, they're getting close, dude. This is awesome. I might have to actually listen to this. Hell yeah. We're gonna listen together, dude. We're gonna listen together, folks. We are gonna listen to the fucking moon, baby. I'm sorry. I need to chill out. I just woke up, so I'm kind of giddy. Sorry about that. What the actual flip? Come on. Does it have to be blue? There we go. Come on. Watch this. Here.
It has a metric rays coming out, and so we're excited to hear them describe that. You might hopefully hear stuff about color or color hues, and so if they can see any changes in those color hues, from like white to gray to maybe brownish, we're excited to hear about that. Exosphere is the almost no existing atmosphere of the moon. It's barely there. But there is dust on the lunar surface that can get lofted up through electrostatic forces. And when the sun goes behind the moon, it can scatter forward on those dust particles and sort of like create a little glow on the horizon. So we're really excited to see if the crew can actually see that.
This is so exciting. Thank you so much for walking through all of that with us. Julian Gross, Artemis Creation Link, we really appreciate you joining us here today, and good luck to your team.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
We are now MET 4 days.
This is sick, bro.
And 49 minutes into the flight of Orion. This view of the moon from the Orion spacecraft as we get closer.
Orion spacecraft. I've been on for almost 8.5 minutes, so gotta get going here. Oh. Holy smokes. We're in the buzz today for the moon. Moon landing. Think I just wear this? For fun? I hope I didn't lose sound. But, yeah, thank you. Come back.
We're live here in Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, just about 32 minutes away until the crew surpasses the record set by Apollo 13 as the farthest astronauts to ever leave Earth. This view coming from a camera mounted on the tip of one of Orion's 4 solar arrays. Each array has a camera on its tip, and so we anticipate getting views throughout the lunar flyby. Of course, except during the point of loss of signal when the spacecraft flies behind the moon. Inside the cabin, the crew are configuring the inside of Orion for today's flyby, making sure they have everything just where they want it to help them take the pictures that they are aiming for the science team here on the ground. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will have a pre-lunar flyby conference. During that Lunar Flyby Science Crew Conference, our science officer here on console, Kelsey Young, will be speaking directly with the crew members about their targets, about their goals for today, what they expect to see, and what we are hoping to hear from them.
There we go. All right. Stretch my face. Wake up in the morning and stretch my face.
We have a lot of milestones coming up today, so make sure you don't miss them. The first coming up again at 1:56 p.m. Eastern Time. The crew will pass the distance from Earth record set by Apollo 13.
What's up? What's up, people in my chat? Hello.
The lunar flyby officially begins. The crew will have that time
Not
on
much going on. I'm not going to be paying attention to my chat too much.
Recordings of what they are seeing
like I did yesterday.
on the moon. At 7:02 p.m., Orion will make its closest approach to the moon, approximately 4,070 miles away. Of course, all of these numbers are going to have to be confirmed following the flyby. These are estimates, and we are working with orbital mechanics. At 7:07 p.m., Orion reaches its maximum distance from Earth, approximately 252,760 miles away from us all. At 8:35 p.m., the spacecraft will enter a solar eclipse. The crew will become the first to see a solar eclipse from the moon.
Oh. Wow. This is how they see this.
Ahead of the official beginning of flyby today, Kelsey Young, Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, will be conducting a pre-lunar flyby crew conference. She will give information on camera setup, remind the crew of their intended targets, answer questions from the astronauts, and more. Young will help the crew set their targeting timeline, which counts down the time they have to image each target and what they'll be capturing next. She'll also remind them that the ground team will be calling for science sit reps, also known as situation reports. Those are essentially call downs to report what they've been observing. They'll continue to do this even through their LOS, their loss of signal, as those communications will come down later on after they reconnect with us on Earth. Are already using their cameras, getting set up, and they have dimmed the cabin lights to allow them better visibility outside of the windows and fewer reflections. Now, 28 minutes until they become the humans to travel farthest from our planet. Houston is ready for the conference, passing you over to science.
Cool.
Good morning, crew. This is science. We couldn't be more excited for a full day of lunar and planetary observations today, the first one in over 54 years. How do you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear, and Kelsey, you just got to know you're pulling us away from the moon right now, so let's go.
Message received. I will keep it tight here. I did just want to start with a thank you on behalf of the Lunar Science team and the entire lunar and planetary science community, of which you are absolutely a part, for what you've already done in this mission and what you're going to do today to inspire the next generation of scientists. I have to say Moonjoy is the new term that's already become our team's new motto, so thanks for that. In this conference, we'll cover hardware and config reminders, and then I'll just briefly, as you said, cover today's science plan. I'm assuming you already have your LTPs up. Confirm that, and I'll jump quickly into the cap and config reminders.
Okay, we have the LTP up just to give you a sit rep on board. You've got Reed and Christina on one PCD, and Mike has his own, and Jeremy has his own.
Copy that. That was going to be one of my questions for you, and I'll ask a question back. Is that the config that you and Christina plan to carry throughout the day for PCD use?
Kelsey, our plan for PCD use is we have run the power tables to Windows 2 and 3, and we are going to leave one PCD. The yellow PCD will be in window 2, and the green PCD will be in window 3, and we will do that the whole day, and then the red PCD will be a rover.
Understood. Super helpful. Recommend when you guys switch in and out of PCDs to add your initials to your OneNote annotations, just so we can keep track of whose is who. And then given that you have 3 PCDs instead of 4 for the data transfer at the end of the day, recommend making a new subdirectory entitled For Science for your own photos, or with your initials, that we can keep track of which pictures came from which flashcards.
That's a visualization. That's a visualization.
This view.
Here's what we're doing. We have community cards in all cameras on board, and then when each astronaut approaches their camera, the intent is they will put their card into that camera for photos, and then put the community card back in at the end of the session. But just know it is harder to manage cards than we thought, and we don't want to miss science, so it might end up a bit more disorganized.
Understood. Thanks for that essay. Just read the flashcard numbers down when you get a chance, and we'll follow your lead on the best thing to do operationally during the flyby. With that, I'll move on to Windows. So the window characterization DFTO you guys did a few days ago confirmed that window 2 is ideal for imaging, so no change to config of photographer in window 2, observer in window 3, and science tech reps in window 1. Coming up on the handover. Feedback.
Kelsey, the way we have it configured, tell us if this is going to be wrong. Window 2 is the long lens with a shroud.
As you heard, Science Officer called to the crew. We are now in a handover time period. We will regain communications with the crew very shortly. These are tracked, and we are currently on the Deep Space Network. This is the first time humans have used the Deep Space Network in over 50 years, given that we currently use the Tracking Data Relay satellite systems for the International Space Station. This view from Artemis Mission Control on the right is Kelsey Young. That's who you hear speaking with the crew. Young is the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, and we also look forward to speaking with her here today.
Sup, Linda. Hello.
Again, we are just about 22 minutes until we reach the Apollo record. We are in a handover of satellites with the crew aboard Orion.
22 minutes.
For the Z9 and solar, and then window 3 will be for visual observations, and window 4 is for floater.
And thanks, Integrity, for that read. We had a handover during that time, so I'm going to have to ask you to give that read back on window orientation for the crew again.
Okay, we are happy to change it, but the way we have it configured right now is window 1 has a t-shirt shroud for the Z9 for solar. Window 2 has the shroud for the long lens for both lunar and solar. Window 3 is for visual observations. Window 4 is for floater. And then the docking hatch window has had a great view, so we've done a lot of mapping through that as well.
All right, copy all, Reed. A note just on the window 1 t-shirt shroud that you can remove that for the lunar observation block if you want to, if you want that extra view for another floater. But for you guys on that. You are go to use the full 400 millimeter zoom on the long lens, but where possible, try to keep the end of the lens flush with the window to prevent imaging through the multiple window panes at an angle. And if you have to take an image at an angle, recommend you limit the max focal length to 200 millimeters or simply acquire the images at multiple focal lengths. Last imaging update as a result of the DXTO is that if you can take the images out of the left side of window 2 where possible, that is the best half the window. Understand that might not be possible with the shroud. Any other imaging questions from you?
Ow!
Okay, copy that.
Okay, last couple reminders. Don't forget the ability to take the wave files to tag imagery that you are wanting to follow up on using the FN3 button on your camera. And then a couple quick notes on your LTP. We have refined your precise flyby timing since generating the LTP. Optimus has the correct timing for the LOS and AOS, but the LTP identifiers for LOS and AOS are roughly 2 minutes later than they will be in reality. Final LTP timing update is that the green line on your LTP should start automatically 45 minutes before the flyby. If it doesn't appear, let me know and I'll have troubleshooting steps for you. Last updates are on the eclipse, so only for that last hour today. Of course, remember if the sun is in view to use your eclipse glasses. And reminder that we will have a few activities for you prior to the eclipse to reconfigure all 3 cameras for corona and deep sky observations. These activities, some of which will occur during the forward link LOS, so we wanted to flag it for you now. Any questions before I cover the last 2 reminders?
No, we have no questions on that.
Last couple eclipse reminders. The sunset period and the first roughly 23 minutes of the eclipse will fall during that forward link LOS, but we'll still have a return link, and we're still looking forward to your science sit reps and observations during that time. And I do have a reminder for you on your preferred starting config for the eclipse in terms of role responsibility. Let me know if you want me to read that up or if you guys have that in your minds already. And if no other questions on config, I'll give you a few science-focused reminders.
Give us a quick high level, but we see it in Optimus, and I think we got it squared away. But give us your quick Kelsey high level.
Okay. A couple changes from the first LTP you studied is that Glushko is the only feature that the same pair will view twice. That's Reed and Jeremy. That's why that's the only target you see that is marked as 1 of 1 and 2, 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. So Ohm and Oriental are in there twice. place, but they're by different pairs, which is why you don't see them marked accordingly. A note from feedback on your observations so far over the last couple days. A reminder that if you note structure and texture, as well as color and albedo, please note any correlation between the two. And also a reminder that negative observations are still valuable science. So a lack of color or a lack of structure associated with color is also valuable. A reminder also that your observations so far indicate it will likely take some time for your eyes to adjust. We especially heard that around your terminator observations and your color observations. So reminder to know that your eye adaptation is going to kind of come in throughout your shift, and let us know when you start to see that nuance. Last reminder is around Earthset and Earthrise. When you're viewing us back here at home, you'll be looking directly at Asia, Africa, and Oceania. So I'm sure people watching from those places here on Earth will want to give you all a wave as you take their picture.
Wow.
Any other questions from me? For me?
And Kelsey, when you're talking window 2, left and right side, just can you say towards window 1 or towards window 3, and then we'll know that we are talking the same language?
Absolutely. So I mean that the side of window 2 closest to window 3 is preferred for imaging.
Okay, the side of window 2 closest to window 3 is preferred for recording. Stand by, we'll talk to group.
Again, we are in our pre-lunar flyby science conference with Kelsey Young. Kelsey Young is the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, speaking with the crew aboard Orion. They've been training for this moment for years, and this is their last opportunity to get some further pointers and information.
Before the T-shirt shroud, what window does the science team think will have the best view? Is it window 1 or window 4?
The only time we're strongly recommending use of the window
Eclipse. The window, the T-shirt window shroud for the eclipse viewing, which window is primary for Z9?
window 1.
Okay, awesome. So we have got that all set up. And just to be 100% sure, window 1 is the most important window by the food warmer. Window 2 is right in front of C1. Window 3 is right in front of C2. And window 4 is on the starboard side by the side edge. Do you agree with all that?
We agree on the ground. Good feedback.
Turn it up. I can barely hear this.
Okay, that's awesome. Kelsey, we're going to close with happy words. It's just incredible. I wish you were up here to see all the smiling faces, to hear all these terminologies being thrown around, and we are just fired up to get started on this day. Let me pass the mic around if anybody has anything to add.
Kelsey, it's so great to hear your voice on the loops. I just want to channel everything that you guys are probably feeling right through my eyes and heart. It is awesome to see the side of the moon. You guys made us excited for this day, and we couldn't appreciate it anymore. And we are ready to hopefully deliver on all the awesome training you guys have provided.
Sick.
How does that, Kelsey? It is blowing my mind what you can see with the naked eye on the moon right now. It's just unbelievable. Kelsey, and to the whole Winter Science team, all of you, and all the work you put into this, we're just grateful. Can't wait to get going. And thank you for the tipper, for General Crater, and for Integrity. We can see them, and we've imaged them, and can even see with the naked eye. Quite impressive. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Beautiful words, you guys. Thanks so much. And I got video of the science team right now, and they are all absolutely buzzing. Looking forward to today.
Okay, we're heading into the timeline.
Turn it off. Let's go.
of the Pre-Lunar Flyby Science Conference with Dr. Kelsey Young. Young has served as the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, getting the crew ready. And we're live in Artemis Mission Control in Houston, but we are not the only room monitoring today's flyby. As you heard Young mention, in this same building and just down the hall, a multidisciplinary lunar science team supports the Artemis 2 crew in real time, including experts in lunar geology, impact cratering, volcanism, polar science, imaging, and visualization. There are two integrated facilities, and the first is the SIR, which is what you have right here. That's the Science Evaluation Room. They are embedded within Mission Control to provide science input during live operations like what we see today. Additionally, and not pictured, we have the Science Mission Operations Room, a back room that processes data, evaluates imagery, and supports rapid analysis. Our science officer on console in Mission Control Houston serves as the primary interface between the science team and the flight controllers, ensuring science priorities are represented during mission execution. Again, today that's Dr. Kelsey Young, who will be speaking with the crew during the time they're behind the moon. We will be speaking with her once the crew is behind the moon and out of communication with Earth. Back inside the Orion spacecraft on your left, closest to the camera, NASA astronaut Christina Cook. To her left, NASA astronaut Reid Wiseman. To his left, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. And all the way in the back, NASA astronaut Victor Glover, our Artemis 2 crew.
I just hope this is real. Oh, let's go, baby.
We are now approaching 8 minutes until the crew surpasses the Apollo 13 record. Currently 12,599 miles away from the moon, 248,507 miles away from Earth.
Go outside. Land on it.
You may also hear the Orion spacecraft referred to today as Integrity. This was named by the Artemis 2 crew. It is
Integrity crew. We have Reid's family in the viewing gallery. You're welcome to say hello.
Well, whether you're being serious or you're kidding around, that is awesome to hear. Thanks, Jenny. And hello to Ellie and Katie. I don't know who else is there, but it's great to know that you're in Mission Control right now, following along. When you're having a blast up here, and the view of the moon is absolutely amazing.
I'm seeing a lot of hearts come out of the viewing gallery and even more smiles. Thanks, Reid.
Cool. Let's see the moon! Shut up! Show it. Yeah, whatever.
Copy heart. Copy bracelet.
that call from Capcom Jenny Gibbons, Canadian Space Agency astronaut and Artemis 2 backup crew member, letting Reid Wiseman know that he has family here to support him today in the Artemis Mission Control viewing room.
Bro, what the hell? What the?
As I was mentioning, we have the Orion spacecraft flying today. However, the Artemis crew members named their Orion spacecraft Integrity, so you will hear calls to this entire crew with the name Integrity. They say that the name Integrity embodies the foundation of trust, respect, candor, and humility across the crew and the many engineers, technicians, scientists, planners, and dreamers required for mission success.
Huh.
This view live from the outside of Orion as we continue. Preparing for our lunar flyby, now less than 5 minutes.
There
from
she
surpassing
is.
the
Oh,
record
that's
set
why.
by
I gotta be
Apollo 13
patient. 5
astronauts were the
minutes.
farthest humans to travel from Earth. This will not be the farthest that Integrity travels today. They will continue until they reach approximately a distance of 252,760 miles. That would be about 4,105 miles farther than Apollo 13. However, these numbers are our targets, and we will get confirmation on those numbers as soon as we possibly can and share them with you all.
I don't know, y'all. Don't know. It sounds so weird.
We talked a little bit about what to expect from the crew, whether that's taking photos or making audio recordings. To get a little more detailed, Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen will be up first to capture imagery and
Nutella.
record audio on the portable computing devices. You hear those
Little
referred
Nutella
to as
floating.
PCDs, while Victor and Christina serve as the support members. The crew will switch windows and roles halfway through their shift, and 1 hour and 5 minutes later, Victor Glover and Christina Cook will be the next crew members at windows 2 and 3 to take photos and make annotations, while Reed and Jeremy take on those support roles. There are 5
All right,
viewing
come
blocks,
on.
and the crew will swap
Get to the
out
moon.
with each one. During 2 of the blocks, the 2 support members will also be
Oh,
able
my
to
sister's
enjoy their
here.
midday meal.
Is that the blue cheese moon? Are you still here? So I've been watching this thing. I'm not
At
watching my
least 3
chat.
times per block is a science set rep.
E-Stream
Again,
giving
situational
buzz, dude.
report. This is
Yes.
partially in operational status,
Bobby
reporting back if they
Swagger.
missed any targets or gotten any specific
Well, it's
ones.
kind of like,
If they
it's
have
not
issues
buzz.
with their camera or
It's
any
not
other
buzz, it's like dead.
operational items. The other part is an actual
Sounds
description of the moon. This task is done by one of the support team astronauts, so that's
I don't
not
know
the
why.
crew currently taking photos or making annotations.
sounds like
but
a
they
normal
do have
string, right?
windows 1 and 4 that they can float up and provide that
It
information
has like
from.
sustain.
If you
This
watch
one-
the entirety of the flyby, you'll also notice the crew will be photographing some targets multiple times to get observations
I
in
don't know.
different lighting conditions. This is due to
She
Orion
is still here.
changing
Cool.
their location
Anyone new
throughout the
coming in? I don't
flyby.
know. Be sure to click the thumb if you do. Yeah, that's cool. Or don't.
What this crew will be able to capture in a couple of hours of the same targets in different lighting would take orbiters years
We're
to
gonna be
do
here all day
because of
with the moon,
solar and
dude.
spacecraft positioning. This crew has studied the moon extensively, and they're also familiar with what the science team calls the Big 15. These are 15 features that they've memorized, so at any time, they'll be able to see 5 of those and help orient themselves in where they are around the moon. Those targets are diverse and complex in their geologic history, and observations of them could help answer some big picture science questions.
Ugh. Getting close. 2 minutes, they say? Come on.
If you've been following the mission, you can see that the configuration of the cabin is a little bit different than what it looked like on launch day. After ascent, the crew
It's about me
were
watching
allowed
the moon.
to reconfigure their spacecraft, and you can see that they've taken down seats. They have also taken away
I'm
footrests.
just farting around.
This
I'm doing my
gives
daily
them
thing on
more
this thing.
opportunity to move about the spacecraft.
But I just like want to watch the moon. Bobby Swagger, you're the one that wanted the screenshot, I think, right?
Orion itself has 330 cubic
Right.
feet of habitable volume. That's about the
How
size
you
of
doing
2
with?
minivans and is 60% more cubic volume than the Apollo spacecraft. We are standing by for the Integrity crew aboard Orion to surpass the Apollo 13 record.
Yeah. Would you eat the moon if it was made of cheese? If it was made of ribs? I know I would. It'd be delicious. There it is. It's the moon. Did AI pick up on that?
Integrity crew. On April 15, 1970, during the Apollo 13 mission, 3 explorers set the record for the farthest distance humans have ever traveled from our home planet. At that time, over 55 years ago, Lovell, Swigert, and Hayes flew 248,655 statute miles away from Earth. Today, for all humanity, you're pushing beyond that frontier. Integrity, over to you.
From the cabin of Integrity here, as we surpass the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from planet Earth, we do so in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors in human space exploration. We will continue our journey even further into space before Mother Earth succeeds in pulling us back to everything that we hold dear. But we most importantly choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
Thank you, Integrity, and congratulations to you and the rest of the Artemis 2 team.
Thank you, Houston. We have a couple more things we'd like to take this moment for. Our science team helped us out with a couple of relatively fresh craters on the moon that have not been previously named. And our crew would like to propose a couple of potential names for those items or those areas. And we spent a bit of time this morning looking out the window, and we're able to see them now both with our naked eye and through the long lens. And so we feel this is a good time to send this down, and a special shout out to Kelsey for helping us with this. The first one we'd like to suggest is a named crater in honor of our great spacecraft Integrity. And so if you were to look at Oriental on the far side and then draw a line straight up to Ohm on the far side, relatively in the middle is an unnamed crater, and we would like to suggest it be called Integrity in the future. And the second one, and especially meaningful for this crew, is a number of years ago.
Hannah, I hope you're watching still.
In our close-knit
I'm watching this. I'm not watching my
chat. We lost a loved one. And there's a feature in a really neat place on the moon. And it is on the near side, far side boundary. In fact, it's just on the near side of that boundary. And so at certain times of the moon's transit around Earth, we will be able to see this from Earth. And so we lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reed, the mother of Katie and Ellie. And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko, and it's just to the northwest of that, at the same latitude as Ohm, and it's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carol, and you spell that Carroll.
Carol. Cool. Aw. Right on, bro. Did you hear that? That was cool. Aw. No.
Integrity and Carroll Crater. Loud and clear.
Carroll
Thank you.
Crater! Integrity and Carroll Crater! They named it! Holy shit! Integrity and Carroll. It's just craters, but it's still cool, dude. We named that shit. It's what we do. We go and we land and we name stuff and we do stuff. Well, we're not landing, but you know what I mean. I think eventually we'll land for real. At some point. God, are they going to show it? Ah! Been waiting this whole time. Patiently. Let's go. Alright, just nothing but dead air. Here we go. How's my chat doing? How's my chat doing? Oh yeah, cool. Glad Hannah's still here. That's good.
As the Artemis 2 crew passed the record
Oh,
by
me?
Apollo 13
Yeah.
for the farthest humans to ever fly from Earth
Fucking
at
dead-eyed
12:57
retard.
p.m.
ginger.
Central Time, 1:57 p.m. Eastern Time. Canadian Space Agency
You're watching the
astronaut
moon is kind of
Hansen
funny during an
shared-
acoustic session. I know. Sorry, bro. It's important, dude. Even if it's fake, I don't know.
We're
I
doing
don't
the
care.
same down here, and
It's
you are
fun.
maneuvering to your observation attitude.
It's like a movie.
As we pass that
Oh,
Apollo
yeah,
13
Turkey,
record
hello.
of the furthest humans to ever fly from Earth at 12:57 p.m. Central Time, 1:57 p.m. Eastern Time, the Artemis 2 crew shared some poignant words, specifically Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. The crew also called down two craters not
Ooh, they're
yet
turning the
named
lights
that
off.
they would like to name. One, Integrity, in honor
I'm not reading.
of
You can
their
stay in the chat.
spacecraft,
I'm
which
just
they have named.
watching this.
That's near the Ulm crater. Another near Glushko, which is a bright spot, named Carol, in memory of Reed Wiseman's wife.
Ah, this is right, bro. Damn.
There was a moment of silence here in Mission Control Houston. And now the team and the Artemis 2 crew are ready to begin their
Why
lunar
does it look like
flyby.
shh? It's 2026. We can't. Should be in 4K. What is going on? This is like 240. It's like YouTube in 2004. Jeez. That's so wrong. Excuse me. I literally just woke up and because I wanted to watch this. Well, not just woke up. Maybe a couple hours ago. Yeah, a couple hours ago I woke up. I think it would be appropriate to play something.
We are 4 days, 19 hours, 31 minutes mission elapsed time of the flight of Artemis 2, our 4 astronauts aboard Orion. Today is our lunar flyby day. The spacecraft is currently about 12,000 miles away from the moon, and you can keep up with the distance from Orion to the moon and Earth by visiting nasa.gov/track Artemis, or you can just stay with us here because we're going to be telling you throughout the day. They are currently 248,834 miles away from planet Earth.
Oh, shoot, man, I thought they were like right there. Man, I ain't got that kind of time. I do. This is my life. Keep you guys entertained, I guess. Hey. Okay. Since we're 12,000 miles away still. Dang, dude. All right. We got some other people in here. Hello, how you doing? Hey, are you watching Artemis 2 mission? Yes. Sick outfit, bro. Yeah, I felt it was appropriate.
Coming up next on the crew's timeline today will be their cabin configuration portion. You heard some calls down to Science Officer Dr. Kelsey Young earlier about how they have configured the cabin so far. This is just a little bit more of timelined activity for them if they need to further do so. On flight day 3, the crew had time on their schedule allotted for configuring the spacecraft cabin for how they intended to arrange it today. Of course, they had to take down that configuration for another test yesterday of their Orion Crew Survival System suits. But configuring it on flight day 3 allows them the opportunity to get a chance to see what works for them now that they are in the microgravity environment.
Microgravity environment. Ooh. What was it? I don't know. What is that song? I used to know that song. I don't know if it's in C. What is it? No, maybe it's in D. Where you hear Wreck John Mayer again. What? Tiki. Oh, there she is. Let's have make it that acoustic.
Again, the crew is about to begin their cabin configuration portion of their timeline, though they have been working that already, as well as potentially during their post-sleep period this morning. The official lunar flyby observations are slated to begin in just about 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
That's when we'll have the crew at the windows photographing the moon, as well as making calls down about what they are seeing.
40 minutes, that's perfect. Oh, you don't think so, huh?
Again, we are live here in Artemis Mission Control for the duration of flyby. Currently, the Orbit 1 flight control team is on console. This room is staffed 24/7 from the time before the astronauts step foot on the rocket until the time they are splashed down and are safely recovered in the Pacific Ocean on flight day 10.
Yeah, in like 4 days. Yeah, we got it. 40 minutes. Well, okay. Let me go back to my clacker. Back to my clacker. I was halfway through these when this thing started, so I'll only subject you guys to these. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's too fast. There we go. Dude said Megadeth acoustic.
Again, this is
That'd be
Artemis
cool.
Mission Control here in Houston. We are
Yeah, I
now
don't think Megadeth has any
11,777 miles away from the moon. We did pass the Apollo 13 record of farthest humans away from Earth at 12:57 p.m. Central Time, 1:57 p.m. Eastern Time. That distance, 248,655 statute miles from the Earth, continuing to be exceeded by the crew. They will reach their farthest distance from the Earth around 6:07 p.m. Central Time. At that time, they will be in an LOS, or a loss of signal, with us on Earth, as they'll be flying behind the moon.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't die. Dark side of the moon, bro. Whew. Now they got this, man. They got this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh.
As the crew gets into their cabin configuration preparations, we are joined by Dr. Sarah Noble, the Artemis Lunar Science Lead. Thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, it's quite a day.
Yeah, we are very excited. I can only imagine how you guys are doing over there. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what your role is for Artemis 2.
Sure. So I'm the Artemis Lunar Science Lead, so over the entire campaign, and my job is basically to make sure that as we have this big adventure back to the moon, we actually learn new things about the moon.
Fascinating. So why is the moon such an important destination today?
Yeah, so the moon is a pretty amazing place. It is a great place to learn about basic fundamental processes that happen on like all the planets, like cratering and volcanology, and also it is part of our Earth-Moon system. And the Earth recycles its rocks pretty well, right, through plate tectonics and weathering and whatever. Most of the rocks on the Earth are geologically young, but on the moon we have the entire record that goes back 4.5 billion years until it's been formed. And so if we really want to learn about what was happening in that period, like the moon is really the only place we can go.
We're also thinking about going back to the moon, and we want to go to the lunar South Pole. So what makes that such an interesting destination?
Yeah, South Pole is cool, right? It's far away from the places we went during Apollo. It's different kinds of rocks there, some of the oldest rocks on the moon. It's also a place where we think there might be resources like water. There are craters
Water
that
on the
really never
moon?
can see the sun because of the low sun angles there, and they get very cold. And we think that water and other things can build up in those craters, and so we're very interested to see what that might do for us.
I'm very interested as well. So for some of our viewers who might be new to this, what does lunar science look like during an Artemis mission?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for us as we have really sort of built this from scratch to try to understand how we can best use the crew to support our science. And so, we've developed a system. We've got a team in place. We've got a back room here in this building called the SIR, the Science Evaluation Room. And there's at the back room to that back room over at another building here at Johnson Space Center where we've got our teams of scientists working really hard. They're actually speaking to this room through our science officer. This is now the first time we've ever had a science officer in flight control room. So we're pretty excited about that. So we have a really voice out and up to the crew.
I know, it's been so exciting to hear Dr. Kelsey Young speaking directly with the crew today now, so close to the moon, and we have a live view here of the science operation, or the science evaluation room. So this is where the majority of your team is today, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. This is a big chunk of our scientists. You can see them, and they're now working hard, trying to get ready for the day. And then again, there's a second room where we have a lot of our data folks, where the data will first come down and they'll sort of sift through the data and get it ready for this team to take.
What's the mood like right now in the SIR?
It is, I would say, giddy. I think we're all we've worked very hard for this. They have done simulation after simulation. They have worked really hard over the last couple of years to get ready for this moment, and I think everybody's just really excited to see. Even already we've had some descriptions from the crew coming down, and it's so great to see their joy and our joy, our love for the moon come through.
Yes, we are in for a real treat today. It's been anything like their observations the past couple of days. So how are the lunar science teams using this test flight to prepare for future missions to the moon?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the way that we are building our foundation for the future. From everything from, how do you train a crew to be a geologist, right? And so, working through that, getting them classroom training, field training, building the science team, building these physical rooms that we are in, designing the software that the teams are using, and then, figuring out what happens to that data. They're going to take this data and it's going to come down, and how do we get it out to not only our team, but out to the world and the rest of the science community.
Yeah, that's a great point, because when you hear these crew members talk, you would never know that they're not geologists. Your team has trained them so well.
They have been very good students.
Who can blame them? It's a pretty great topic. One more question for you. How does the science that we're doing on Artemis help support long-term exploration, including our sustained presence on the moon?
Yeah, you know what? We have a saying in the Science Mission Directorate that science enables exploration and exploration enables science, right? So you need some scientists, because we are the ones who are the experts in, landing site and doing analysis of landing site and making sure we can find a good place to land, to understanding the properties of the soil so we can design our systems to manage that, understanding the radiation environment, keeping our astronauts safe, all of these things, right? But in return, you provide us with opportunities where now we're going to be able to collect this data and collect samples and deploy our instruments and all of that. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
That makes perfect sense. Well, Dr. Sarah Noble, Artemis Lunar Science Lead, thank you so much for joining us here today. Best of luck to you and your team, and I hope that you get to enjoy today too.
Thank you so much.
We are now getting closer and closer to our lunar neighbor. This live view coming from the Orion spacecraft and a camera mounted on one of its solar array wings.
Only about 20 more minutes. 20 more minutes or so. Oh, 2, 3, 4.
Houston, integrity for camera serial numbers.
Ready to copy.
Hey Jenny, these are card numbers for the various positions. For the long lens on the D5, we will have individual cards. Victor's 1008, Jeremy 1019, Reed 1012, myself 1015. For the Z9, we will have one card that is dedicated for today, serial number 1007. For the cabin camera D5, we will have one dedicated card for today, serial number 1022.
All right, Christina, we copy all. Thank you.
We just realized that we have Earth out window 1 and Moon out window 2, and we were, I'm sorry, Earth out window 4 and Moon out window 3, and it gives you the best idea of scale we've had yet. The Moon is about 3 to 4 times the size of the Earth, and it is almost full, and the Earth is just a small crescent out there. It's magnificent. I got a picture of it with the wide lens. Such a majestic view out here.
We're going to see those pictures.
Amaze, amaze, amaze. Thank you, Reed.
Woo! Two more of these.
Those are some of the communications we're excited most about today. Commander Reed Wiseman calling down their view right now. Obviously a little bit different than what we can see from the solar array camera. They are looking through the windows of the Orion spacecraft, able to see at the same time Earth and the Moon. You also heard NASA astronaut Christina Cook calling down some of the cameras that they will be using today. The crew is in that cabin configuration portion, and we expect the lunar flyby observation period to start just about 20 minutes. Checking in on Orion's distance and speed, they are currently traveling 1,071 miles per hour, 249,159 miles away from Earth, 11,293 miles away from the Moon, and continuing to grow closer.
Okay. We're going over 1,000 miles an hour.
At closest approach to the Moon today, the spacecraft will be just about 4,070 miles away from the lunar surface. This will be during our loss of signal with the crew as they travel behind the Moon, and we will await their return to get the official number for you for how close they come to our lunar neighbor.
Okay.
Inside the cabin today, the lunar targeting package is the primary tool guiding the crew observations and consists of two key components. The lunar geography review helped the astronauts study major lunar features in advance and help learn how to orient themselves during the flyby, because, of course, the moon is not actually labeled like it appears here when we look at this map. The lunar targeting plan provides a detailed timeline of observation targets, background science context, and specific instructions for the pictures the crew should take, as well as the verbal descriptions that will be helpful to the science team reviewing them later. This is a screenshot from their lunar targeting package, and a screenshot specifically of that lunar.
Go ahead.
Hey Jenny, understanding we are in final attitude now for the lunar flyby, would it be possible to pitch the vehicle down 5 degrees? That would allow us to get the D5 long lens flush and have the least amount of window distortion.
We're checking.
That call from Christina Cook, NASA astronaut and mission specialist on Artemis 2.
Copy.
The Orion spacecraft is positioned in a specific attitude to allow the crew to best see the moon outside of their windows today for this imaging opportunity. That call was a request for a potential attitude shift just slightly, another 5 degrees, to give them a better view and to give them a better opportunity to use their long lens camera. They'll also be using that lunar targeting package we were discussing. I am following along with that real time, so I'll be able to share with you exactly what targets the crew is looking at and when. They also trained with a lunar science passport. It's a little reference guide used on Earth to reinforce recognition of key lunar features. It is not on the flight, but it was a significant study tool for the crew to get them ready for launch. The apparent size of the moon will change throughout the flyby, and it'll appear roughly like a basketball held at arm's length at the crew's closest approach. That reinforces the need for careful planning and practiced observation techniques.
Houston, integrity for timeline.
Go ahead.
Hey Jenny, just to make absolutely sure that we start observations when expected, we are showing in Optimus that observation time starts in about 15 minutes, and in LTP that our first target, discussion 1, starts in about 29 minutes. Can you confirm you'd like us to start discussion 1 in 29 minutes at 1900 GMT?
Christina, we are tracking that discussion 1 should start at 18:45. That's 15 minutes from now.
Okay, copy all. It may be a granularity issue with LTP, but understand that we start that observation in 15 minutes, and I bet when we get there, the green line in LTP will match the start of the white band for discussion 1. I think it's just a matter of the labeling and the granularity. Thanks for confirming.
Copy, and we'll look into that a little bit more on our side as well. Christina, can you verify for us that your green line is moving on the timeline page of your LTP?
Woo, doggy.
Jenny, I do think we're good. Looking closer, I see the labels are just not aligned with the start or end times of the white visible bands. It fully makes sense now, so I think we are all set. We'll look forward to starting some observations in about 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
Copy, thanks, Christina.
Yikes. 13 minutes. Thirteen minutes. Minutes, folks.
As you heard discussed, we are expecting the crew's observation time period to start in about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
First, they'll be conducting a warm-up, warming up to their science observations.
I'm warming up too.
They'll be discussing with each other, helping each other orient using the major landmarks that they've studied, asking what is familiar.
If we roll left, port 5 degrees, that would get the moon closer to the left side of window 2.
Copy, Victor. We'd like to know if it's pitch and roll or one or the other.
Jenny, we actually thought you already put the pitch in. Had the pitch been put in already?
Put the pitch in.
No, we need a little while longer to talk about it.
No, you do it. Hurry up.
So, Jenny, I guess what's happening is just as our orbit's changing, where it is in the window is changing. So maybe these fancy little adjustments aren't worth it. It's going to continue to move in the window. Or is the spacecraft going to keep the moon at the same point in the window if we adjust the attitude? I assume the previous.
Just a pitch.
Right now, we are pointing the center of the window to the center of the moon with 2 degrees of deadband.
There you go. Do it. Here we go.
The conversation you hear happening now between the astronauts aboard Orion and Artemis Mission Control here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. They are in the center of your screen, seated at the CAPCOM, or Capsule Communicator Console. That's Jenny Gibbons, Canadian Space Agency astronaut and Artemis 2 backup. She was also the lead CAPCOM for Expedition 63 aboard the International Space Station. The crew is requesting some attitude changes to the spacecraft to allow them to better image the moon.
Yeah, change your
priority for
attitude.
today. Of course, those have to be discussed on the ground before they are put into work aboard the spacecraft, so the team is taking some time to do so. You also heard Gibbons reference that we are in 2 deadbands. Deadbands are essentially keeping us in the lane in which we're traveling. If you're familiar with lane assist in your car, very similar in this case. We are now 10,870 miles away from the moon, traveling 1,066 miles per hour and 249,390 miles away from Earth. Again, we recently surpassed the Apollo 13 distance record of farthest humans have ever traveled. And upon calling down some words during that milestone, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen noting that he hopes that this record that they are setting today is soon broken by future explorers.
It's going down, baby. Any minute. Oh, what are they doing? We just see the one image, and it's not, I don't think that's a live image. It doesn't look like a live image. What the heck is it?
This is Artemis Mission Control. We are standing by for the beginning of lunar flyby.
Fly by. They're flying by.
Expecting that to start in just a few minutes when the crew will begin a warm-up discussion preparing for the day. They will be capturing images along while discussing what they find familiar about the moon and what looks unexpected to them.
They got 6 hours to go around the thing, and they're going to be taking pictures of it. They have a whole list of things they have to do. Whew.
Again, just minutes away from the official start of lunar flyby, or when it is timelined for the crew. We are currently 10,726 miles away from the moon. This view on the left side of your screen coming from the camera on one of Orion's solar arrays.
Okay, so it is live picture.
Other conversation points while the crew are getting ready for their flyby today. They'll be looking to orient themselves using major landmarks and annotating their observations along with their discussion. They'll have 10 minutes for that warm-up discussion.
We have two folks at the window deep in discussion talking about all of the awesome features that they're seeing. We just had a huge moment realizing that Hertzsprung is about the same size as our incredible Oriental. We're really excited about this target that's kind of new to us. We're orienting on things like how we talk about albedo, finding some of the prevalent things that we're used to from all of our training, and just overall taking in this view. We also are noticing that the moon is still getting noticeably bigger as we go, even when you're watching it continuously. It's great to see these two guys get warmed up.
We love the report, Christina. Thanks. And you nailed it on why we added Hertzsprung. As you'll see in the prompts, we're looking for comparisons to the comparatively much older Hertzsprung compared to the younger Oriental. Great words.
This is Artemis Mission Control. That was the voice of Dr. Kelsey Young speaking with the astronauts aboard Orion as they begin their observation period and lunar flyby. NASA astronaut Christina Cook reporting their view of Hertzsprung Basin. The team here is looking for centered images of the basin at a full zoom, and they're hoping that the astronauts can image and describe the inner and outer rings. This is considered a degraded basin with the floor, rings, and ejecta compared to a younger Oriental basin. We spoke earlier with Julian Gross, the Artemis curation lead, about some of the terms we will hear the crew use today. One of those just called out, that's albedo, looking at surface brightness, or the amount of light a surface reflects. A few more terms that we hope to hear today during the crew's sit-reps or situation reports include embaying. This refers to one feature that surrounds another. That usually is a higher relief feature.
Houston Integrity, one report from the crew at the windows. We can actually see the moon and Earth at the same time right now.
Take a picture!
It's interesting because the Earth looks way brighter, so the Earth itself seems to have a much higher albedo than the moon. We think this is independent of our eyes focusing because, of course, the Earth is much smaller than the moon in our view. So you could think that your eyes focus for the darker sky and that it means that it only has apparent brightness more than the moon. But since we're seeing both in the same view, we do think that this can be inferred as the Earth as a whole has a higher albedo.
Sick.
Great observation, Christina, and a reminder that as you're starting to look for those subtle color and albedo variations on the moon, the relatively bright albedo Earth might make those a little bit difficult, but as your eyes continue to adjust, we expect you to start to see more nuance on the moon. Thanks.
Great call. Thanks for the reminder.
We're all going to be experts in lunar terminology by the end of the day. Another one we expect to hear is mare. These are dark regions paved or filled by volcanic deposits. You also can hear them called seas, oceans, lakes, or marshes, or other bodies of water. Again, we are live in Artemis Mission Control, but on the right side of your screen, that is the Science Evaluation Room. Team members who have been preparing for this day for years. The crew has significantly darkened the cabin of Orion. This allows them better views outside the windows and fewer reflections from inside. They reported being able to see the moon and the Earth out the same window at this time. We are really hopeful to get those photos. Right now, this view on the left side of your screen coming from a camera mounted on one of the solar array wings on Orion outside the spacecraft. The crew is equipped with 80 to 400 millimeter zoom lenses. The team continues their warm-up discussion. I should say the crew members aboard Orion continue their warm-up discussion. However, they are about to be prompted to move on to discussion number 2, which is near side and far side. Some of the things that they are looking to capture, the ground has prompted them to photograph anything that stands out to them and to compare the near side versus the far side mare in color, albedo, topography, and texture. They also want the crew to compare the appearance of rayed craters in the near side mare versus in the far side highlands. Of course, a reminder that some of the items that the crew, or some of the landmarks the crew are seeing today, is the first time that humans have ever laid eyes on those portions of the moon. In the targeting package, there are a few reminders of the crew. For the crew, there are time-sensitive observation reminders and science sit rep reminders.
We have sit rep. The targets that are being discussed right now is the far side, near side comparison, and hearing some great discussion of browns and greens in the Aristarchus Plateau and how those disappear as you go toward the North Pole, and then over to the far side, you lose the color. You've got Jeremy in window 2, Reed in window 1, having a great discussion. Reed is in window 3. Christine is under window 1, documenting the discussion. And we've got the lights completely off in the cabin. There are some LEDs that we cannot put out that do provide some light scatter. But we have all of the internal lights off. And are letting our eyes adjust as best we can.
No way.
Window 4 view, you only get about a third of the moon. Tycho is going to go over the horizon soon, and you can see Aristarchus, and then you start to lose the view as you go to the west in Oceanus and Procellarum. So far, the team is on the plan, and the long land is being put to good use, and recordings are being made, and internal documentation of the configuration and the observations is ongoing. Science, do you have any questions for us at this time?
Integrity Science, Victor, very glad that you provided the first formal science sit rep, as these were indeed your idea. One follow-up question, any relationship between those browns and greens you described? Do you see them blending into one another, and do you see any topography associated with either color?
I don't want to bother the window team. I just heard that, overheard that, and so I'm sorry I don't have that detail yet. I will eavesdrop and see if I can pick that up. I will try to answer that at some point. I also heard a comparison of the albedo in Aristarchus, that crater, the very high albedo spot you can see on the near side. There is a feature called, I believe, alpha that is equally or maybe higher albedo. I apologize for the gaps. I'm trying to listen and talk at the same time, but I will try to get some more information to correlate those colors from Aristarchus for you.
Understood, Victor, and good call to not bug the window team. Really like the brightness comparisons to Burgess A. Really helpful for the science team. Keep them coming. Thanks.
I also heard a discussion about the albedo of Grimaldi being a 10, and how many of us, when we were a little further away, saw that as the darkest albedo, and then the bigger Mari off to the east was still dark, but maybe a 7-8. We still think that, but you are seeing color variation, albedo variation inside of Grimaldi as well. And then even on the west side, there's still a very dark part of it. But it is still the darkest. It is just not as uniform as it looked when we were farther away. We're starting to differentiate the striations of albedo inside of Grimaldi.
Copy all, Victor, and you read our mind. Superlatives like darkest, biggest are really, really helpful for us, so keep those coming.
As we were just mentioning, the crew is slated to perform these science sit reps. They are prompted to do so by an icon in their lunar targeting plan. That one coming down from NASA astronaut and pilot of Artemis 2, Victor Glover. As we discussed, the Capcom is usually the only person in the room speaking with the crew, the capsule communicator. However, today, the science officer, Dr. Kelsey Young, she is the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, is speaking with the crew during the flyby to ask any questions that the team may have. To her right is Trevor Graff. He is one of 3 science officers. Those would be Kelsey Young, Trevor Graff, and Angela Garcia, who will also join us later for an interview.
Which gives a beautiful view. I can see the entire moon that they're looking at. We left the t-shirt up there, so I was kind of peeking through the opening in the makeshift shroud there. And once I was able to get 2 eyes on it, what jumped out at me was Vavilov. It's just peeking out of the Terminator. It's clear of the Terminator now, but it just really jumps out because it's still got the low light, the low sun angle. And so where the, Vavilov has that impact over the top of another crater, where the 2 craters intersect on the eastern edge. So on the side closest to Oriental, where the 2 crater rings intersect, the shadow there is the highest peak in the interior of Vavilov, and so you can see that terrain is there's some real variation in the terrain there. That there's a nice peak where those peaks intersect. Where those rings intersect, and we'll get a picture of that.
Love the description, Victor, especially the comparison and relationships you just described about topography. And if it's easier for your observations, do feel free to remove the t-shirt shroud from window 1.
Absolutely, we will do. Thank you.
coming from NASA astronaut Victor Glover. As we discussed, the crew is working in pairs at the windows. Right now, taking photos are Commander Reed Wiseman and mission specialist Jeremy Hansen. Serving as their support team are pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook. You're hearing those calls from Victor Glover as he is on that support team, and he is tasked with providing the science sit reps, while the two crew photographing and making annotations of the moon are in Windows 2 and 3. Windows 1 and 4 are available for the support crew to fly up to, obviously look at the moon themselves, and provide these science situational reports. The view on your screen is part of the lunar targeting package, and it's something that the crew can reference as they are flying by, but this is an animation. You also heard Glover mention Oriental. Oriental is a major feature that the team is interested in today, and it's known as the Grand Canyon of the Moon. Until this mission, the Oriental Basin had never been seen in sunlight by human eyes.
Sweet.
Oriental Basin and its surrounding ejecta could fit within a straight line distance from NASA's Johnson Space Center, where we are at today, to a Kennedy Space Center. This a live view in Artemis Mission Control in Houston, Texas, where the teams are monitoring all systems, not just for today's flyby, but on the spacecraft themselves. Again, this is a test flight, our very first flight of humans on the Orion spacecraft. This team has been this team has been monitoring the entire time of the mission, as well as we have been live the entirety of the mission, and we will be continuing to do so all the way through splashdown and crew recovery from the Pacific. This is a visualization from ARROW, the Artemis Real-Time Orbit website that you can also access at any time by visiting nasa.gov/trackartemis, showing us that we are now under 10,000 miles from the moon, 9,948 to be specific, and continuing to count down.
Right.
Again, our closest approach to the moon today should come about 6:02 p.m. Central, 7:02 p.m. Eastern. However, we will be out of contact with the crew at this time as they begin transiting behind the moon. At that time of closest approach, the distance from Orion to the lunar surface will be about 4,070 miles. Of course, these are estimates at this time, and we'll be sure to provide you with the official numbers once that closest approach has been reached. This shot live inside the Orion spacecraft, where our 4 crew members are continuing with their lunar flyby activities. They have just begun those activities really about 20 minutes ago, so we've got several hours of moon view opportunities. This is still a live view inside that capsule. However, you can see just how dark they have turned down the lights. Actually, they've turned them all the way off. There are a few LEDs that they cannot power off, but turning down these lights gives them better views outside of the spacecraft's windows while they photograph the moon. This also prevents any reflections from inside the spacecraft bouncing up on the windows and interfering with their photography.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh. Woo. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to business.
previously discussing, the crew members are serving on teams. The first team being Commander Reed Wiseman and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen at the windows photographing what they see. We heard reports earlier that they could see both the moon and the Earth in the same view, and we are looking forward to seeing the moon and the Earth in the same view as well. That Earthsat coming up in just a few hours.
Oh, yeah.
While Wiseman and Hansen are at the windows photographing, Glover and Cook are serving as support crew. They are able to assist with cameras. They are also providing those situation reports, letting us know how the team is working inside the spacecraft, what they're seeing, and how they're feeling about it. Those first blocks of teams will last about an hour, and the crew members are approaching the halfway point into their first observation block. A reminder, we have 5 of those blocks today. So they're approaching this halfway point, during which the crew at the window will switch roles. One will begin taking pictures, and the other will be making annotations on their PCD, that's portable computing device. Both of those crew members at the windows are recording audio of what they see. They are putting on headsets and recording audio into their portable computing devices. Obviously, we are not hearing this right now. This is going to be sent down to the science team, and they will be able to analyze that at a later time. What we are hearing, though, and will continue to hear, are those science sit reps a few times every block. Once this block is complete, about 40 minutes from now, we will have the teams switch. That means Pilot Victor Glover and...
looking out of window 1, I think it's reported earlier saying that it was Tycho going over the horizon. That was Copernicus I was referring to. Apologies. It was Copernicus is what is farthest bounding to the east, and that is now like on the horizon or just past it. And the Korolev is now a few degrees from going over the horizon. And then, next it'll be Aristarchus Plateau. And so on the west, we are getting a much better view of the Terminator. Looks like we have about 80% illumination of the moon. And Vavilov and 1 Vavilov diameter to the west is where the Terminator is right now. And so other features are starting to peek out there. The center of the illuminated part of the moon is to the lower part is Oriental, and just around Oriental, a lot of light structure is starting to show up. A lot of high albedo, similar to the feature, I cannot remember, just alpha and Aristarchus type high albedo in the ring. So when you look at the interior ring and the external ring, it's almost as if the edges are starting to dry up and turn white. If it was something that was wet and got dry, the edges would be the part to dry first. You just kind of outline all the topography in the interior of that wall is like it was with chalk or is starting to dry, or maybe dusted with snow. If this was the Earth, I would say there was snow dumped on some of the ridges on the interior of the rings of Oriental. Also, an interesting part of the discussion that I heard between Reed and Jeremy is that from Glushko to Grimaldi, there are 2 dark features there that look like commas, but in the wrong direction. But there's also a lot of interestingness, just a lot of geometry and squiggles and dots and lines that are starting to stand out as more small features come into view. And there also is a lot of variation in albedo. And some of those, the 2 dark features, for example, have on the southern edge of the larger one, the one that's further to the south, there's a very dark, the one albedo, like the southern and western part of Grimaldi. And the one to the north, closer to Glushko, is also that same dark albedo. And then around them, there are some very high albedo spots just to the north of the southern one, and just to the west, the smaller one to the north. Very high albedo, almost approaching the 10, a 9 or a 10, like Aristarchus. and lots of little bright spots are just starting to pop up in this view. To the north, as you look up at the North Pole, there is a very distinct crater with a lot of a very defined central peak that is also 3 in albedo, and all of that area past it, going to the horizon, gets lighter and lighter, and is very, very high albedo. And I will go look and find the name of that feature if I can look that up. And then to the south, really getting some interesting geography and topography in the South Pole Aitken Basin. And the view of the South Pole is quite amazing. We've got some Terminator there, as well as the limb view, and there is a very distinct crater right at the South Pole. And I'm going to go look up, I don't believe that is Aiken, but I'm going to go look up the name of that one because it's also getting a lot of good topography due to the shadows that I'm seeing. But that's, I was trying to bound the view that I'm seeing for it and got distracted by all of these interesting albedo variations that are popping up in the interior. But that's the view that we see just about a long diameter to the west. Beyond is where the Terminator is. Just beyond, I think Copernicus is the easternmost feature that we can see. A very nice ringed, very nice structure crater to the north with a great high albedo central uplift to the north, and the south is dotted by a very characteristic crater with a lot of terrain, shadow features, and I will go try to find some landmarks to put names with those. Any questions for the observation team?
Integrity Science, love the descriptions. You're definitely looking odd up there. Appreciate seeing the training being implemented. Especially interested in your descriptions of the dark patches. You compared the comma-looking features to the albedo you see in Grimaldi and notice that you're starting to see those color differences popping out. Any observations you want to make, especially when you get on, the PCD in a little bit, would really help us tease out the differences in those dark Mare deposits. Great description, Victor. Keep them coming.
Absolutely will do, and I know you've got descriptions on both of the window observers right now as well. Keep them coming.
Great evidence of how well trained this crew is by the science team. NASA astronaut and pilot of the Artemis II mission, Victor Glover, calling down a situation report, noting several different features on the moon and such descriptions, even saying that it looks like snow on some of the peaks. Obviously, we do not expect that to be snow, but referencing that as some of the lighting on how it looks to the Artemis II crew from their current position. The team is slated to be switching their positions at the windows now. Both Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen have been at windows 2 and 3, one taking photos, one making observations and annotations on their portable computing device. At this time, we also anticipate that they are looking at a crater duo.
One of those is Glushko, and the other is Ohm. The team is looking to know the extent of Glushko's ray system and how its rays differ in the Mare versus the highlands. They also want the team to compare the ray systems of Glushko to Ohm. Ohm is considered a young crater. If you've ever seen a photo of the Richat structure, it's also known as the Eye of the Sahara. It's 40 kilometers in diameter, and that could fit within Ohm's interior. The team is specifically interested in descriptions of that ray visibility, including the color, albedo. Remember, albedo is the brightness or the surface reflection, and the reach. Again, I am using the same lunar targeting package that the crew is referencing on board right now. This helps keep them on time as well as prompt them for when they need to make a call down to the science team and report what they're saying. It also gives them reminders of when they need to swap positions at the windows. Additionally, I'm using the Artemis 2 Lunar Science Passport developed by Amber Turner and the Artemis 2 Lunar Science team. Now, this passport did not fly with the crew, but they used it extensively as a study guide here on Earth. So a lot of the descriptions and comparisons you hear today are developed directly by the science team. We are now 4 days, 20 hours, and 43 minutes.
Science integrity, that crater to the north, we've got one in the north that looks like just a textbook crater, and one on the South Pole as well. The one on the north, I think, is Pythagoras. And what I wanted to highlight about that is it is either a very distinct central uplift or just a very defined area of high albedo. If a majority of the crater, especially the floor of the crater, is, say, an albedo of 5, this center, and only a tenth of the diameter of Pythagoras is an albedo of 2, maybe 3, but it's very bright and it stands out. And then between that crater and the actual, what is the horizon from here, there seems to be another crater right on the horizon. And right on the edge of that is another patch of that albedo. It seems to be between the two craters. It's hard to tell from this grazing angle, but there is another spot just further north beyond Pythagoras. Between the two, I can draw a picture of this one and show you where that very high albedo, again, another 2 albedo surrounded by 5, and most of the area bounding it.
Integrity science, thanks for that. We agree with the Pythagoras assessment. And as a follow-up to your previous report, the SIR had questions about topography comparisons between the North Pole and the South Pole of the Moon, if you're willing to provide words on that.
Topography comparison, absolutely. And if you have any idea what, if you draw a line between Pythagoras and the western edge of the outer defined ring of Oriental, it intersects a beautiful textbook crater on the south. I would love to know the name of that. The topography differences. Now, the South Pole has a little bit of a benefit that it has more of the Terminator, and I can see a little more shadowing there, but there's a nice crater right at the South Pole, so that's the main thing defining the topography there. Seems to be quite a bit of elevation change. I can see some very jagged shadows at 90 degree just to the west of that crater at the South Pole. I can see a very distinct change in the shadow directions, indicating, I don't know, a very high wall or a very deep canyon just to the west of that. And in the north, it seems to be that from sort of the edge of the mare that's dark, which is maybe 1 Pythagoras diameter south. If you draw a ring about that, maybe the top 7 degrees of the moon, and just draw a ring around that. The near side is an albedo of 5 and looks quite smooth from here. And then along the same edge of the mare, the edge of the mare that kind of Grimaldi's just outside of, Glushko is just outside of, Carroll Crater is just outside of, and you start to see the stark differences between the darker 7/8 and the 5s and 6s, the 4s and 5s. If you follow that line up to the north, that line is also where the change in topography happens at the North Pole. The line dividing the light and dark on the edge of the mare that you can see from Earth. Draw that line, roughly the midpoint of all that, straight to the North Pole. And on the side facing the Earth, you see smoother topography and dotted by Pythagoras and its next door neighbor crater. And then on the far side, you see a lot more cratering and a lot more topography. And again, the far side has the benefit of a little germinator there, but I am seeing a variation in the topography. It seems to be more jagged and a more challenging place to find a place to land and to even traverse in the south, all around the South Pole. And at the North Pole, it would be more challenging to translate on the far side of the North Pole compared to the near side of the North Pole around Pythagoras.
Copy all, Victor. You really help paint a contextual picture of what you're looking at. We really appreciate the way that you're guiding us into the areas you're seeing by drawing comparisons between recognizable features. Thanks for that.
Victor Wooten.
Kelsey, another little science sit-rep moment, something I just heard from the window team is the more I look at the moon, the browner and browner it looks. I thought that was an interesting observation. The 2 observers have been on timeline, no hardware issues. They did start to talk a little bit about another feature that you'll hear more about on the recordings that they call the handprint. That was at the end of their Glushko and before they moved into their current target. They thought that was worth chatting a little bit more about. And they're preparing to switch after this.
Houston copies and concurs.
Houston and science integrity, another just observation from the human. My eyes have shifted a little bit since I've been up here. I've been wearing my reading glasses to look at the PCD. Well, this is a very taxing event on the eyes, looking out the window and seeing the very bright moon, then coming back inside to the dark cabin and trying to work cameras and microphones and logistics and lunch and those kinds of things, and then looking at the PCD, which is dimly lit. It's just been an exercise. It is a difficult thing to manage it. I'm up and down on the glasses and then having to wait as my eyes adjust when I come back in. As soon as I look back into the cabin from looking out the window, I can feel my eyes adjusting, and it just have to work through it as they adjust.
Appreciate that report, Victor, and know that we are prepared to read you up targets from the ground if that would give you the ability to keep your eyes focused on the moon and not having to swap between that and the PCD. Just let us know.
Yeah, we appreciate that science, and we will also do that for the window teams, and we'll back each other up that way as well. But we appreciate that. We may take you up on that. Thanks.
Continued detailed descriptions from the Artemis 2 crew aboard Orion. Again, this is a test flight, the first time we've flown humans aboard this spacecraft. So every detail, even that it's difficult to look outside the window and then back at the PCD, that portable computing device, every single detail is appreciated as we prepare for future missions. Glover also mentioned that he is now wearing his glasses now that he's in space and that his eyes have shifted a bit. This is something that happens when our astronauts go to space. There is a fluid shift from the lower half of your body up into your head, and that can cause changes in your eyes. It's something that we have seen over time for some crew members, especially now that we have been living and working on the International Space Station for over 25 years. Again, it's clear that these Artemis II astronauts have undergone extensive lunar science training, including classroom instruction, fieldwork, and high-fidelity simulations. Training expeditions even took place in analog environments like the Icelandic Highlands and the Kemasassen impact crater in Labrador, where crews practiced identifying and describing geologic features under varying conditions. Additionally, here at Johnson Space Center, Orion mock-ups were used to rehearse crew choreography, including three-dimensional space management with an inflatable moon globe to simulate the flyby. And while on Earth, the crew also used that small lunar passport that I mentioned with descriptions, photos, and prompts to help them study the features we hope they'll see. Now, this is a view from their lunar targeting package at this time, helping them determine what they're seeing on the moon, as well as on the left, keep up with what their next target will be. As you can see, we have got a long list and an exciting day ahead of us. It's now been 4 days, 20 hours, and 53 minutes since Orion launched atop the Space Launch System rocket from Kennedy Space Center in Florida with our 4 crew members aboard. NASA astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook, and Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. The Artemis II crew passed a major milestone today when they passed the Apollo 13 distance record at 12:57 p.m. Central, 1:57 p.m. Eastern. That Apollo 13 distance record was 248,655 statute miles from Earth.
And Houston, another observation, whole moon. When you look at the moon, something I've never seen in photographs before, but is very apparent, all the really bright new craters. Some of them are super tiny. Most of them are pretty small. There's a couple that really stand out, obviously. And what it really looks like is like a lampshade with tiny pinprick holes and the light shining through. They are so bright compared to the rest of the moon.
We copy, Christina. Thank you. Looks like you guys might be doing it, but remind you to swap positions at the window and take your SD cards with you. We're loving everything that you're calling down, so keep it up.
Loving every minute of it, Jerry. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't know.
Again, Orion previously surpassed that Artemis, or the Apollo 13 greatest distance from Earth by humans. That was 248,655 statute miles from Earth, and Orion now 250,294 miles away from our home planet. The spacecraft is 9,033 miles away from the moon and growing ever closer. At its closest approach, it'll be about 4,070 miles away, and we will make sure we confirm what that distance ends up being. This is an approximation and an estimate ahead of that moment. We're anticipating them to make that closest approach at 6:02 p.m. Central, 7:02 Eastern, when they are in a loss of signal, transiting behind the moon. They will be the first humans in over 50 years to fly behind the moon and lose contact with Earth. We will regain that contact about 40 minutes later as they reconnect to the Deep Space Network, emerging from behind the moon, and we will look forward to seeing an Earthrise. Again, the crew is currently in their position swap portion on their timeline. This allows crew members the opportunity and the experience of all roles necessary during today's flyby. Right now, those two crew members at the window have swap positions. Again, the crew at the windows swapping positions. Right now, that crew is Commander Reed Wiseman and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen, while Victor Glover and Christina Cook serve as their support flyby crew members. That's why you are hearing Victor and Christina during those science situation reports. Those voices will change in about 30 minutes when they take a turn, taking photos and making annotations while at the window.
Why doesn't it look bigger? This is going to be like a long time. Whatever. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Huh.
Houston Integrity. I wanted to provide an observation or a little bit of descriptive nature on something that we saw on the first day we had good moon views. This was when we saw
Aliens?
more of the near side, and the ground helped me out with identifying Mare Imbrium. Mare Imbrium, when you have the western limb also in view, looks completely different than the normal view we have of the near side. It is the most striking feature of the western limb view that we had, and the mountain chains that form its eastern side are very prominent, but they actually stand out more than I'm used to seeing even on the western side, and the whole thing just feels like a big bump. It actually looks like a large healing wound with a high albedo forming the mountain chain around the impact basin, and I just don't think I had enough chance to describe how striking it was on that western limb view as we were coming in a couple days ago.
Christina, science, absolutely love that, especially since that's a feature that all of us here on Earth can observe from home. So I'm sure tonight everyone's going to be going out and looking for evidence of that beautiful topography you just said. Thanks for those words.
Harper loves Harry Styles. Thanks for the comment, bro. What's Maxi Strange? What the heck is that? Oh. Yeah, that's you. Right on. Hey, everyone, go to Maxi Strange. Yeah, sure. I don't know if there's many people in my chat. After this, go to Maxi Strange. The goal is 300. Needs help. Make sure to do that, Harper. Thanks, Harper. Just make sure you're subscribed to me. Today we're just watching the moon, bro. Watching the moon and practicing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I didn't plan on being here this long, but however long it takes, you know.
The view on your
bro.
screen coming from Orion, a camera mounted on the spacecraft's solar array wing. Toward the right of your screen, the near side is the hemisphere we see from Earth. That is identifiable by those dark splotches, which are ancient lava flows.
Science integrity. A question and a comment. Question is it possible that we're seeing Schrödinger Basin from this vantage point in the Terminator at the South Pole? And the comment is, the rays coming out of home are less distinctly. You're not seeing the bright rays coming out of it, but the sort of 9 o'clock wedge that is formed by the change in albedo from the interior portion that is to the northeast to the surrounding lighter Mare that's 270 degrees to the west. That 90 is very distinct and interior. You got some great descriptions from the two at the window about the colors in there, but in that darker part in that wedge, you've got some really interesting color, even though the rays, the distinct difference in the albedo almost look like rays, but it's not the rays coming out. It's the just change in that albedo.
Integrity science, that is very intriguing. Those color rays coming out of home rather than sort of albedo.
So I gotta go to Maxi
As answer to your
Strange.
question, we do not think you can see Schrödinger. It's in darkness as of now. But thanks for that own
Better be
description.
good, bro.
And it sounds like the pair at the window's got great descriptions that we're definitely going to dive into tonight.
Gotcha. Maxi Strange.
Okay, if you could help me out, I would still love to know what it is. There's a very nice crater. You're gonna likely have a lot of pictures of it. What would be right in the Terminator at the South Pole or close to the South Pole, where it's intersecting the Terminator right now?
Yeah, Victor, we're assuming you're talking about, kind of if you're looking at the Terminator, it's basically
The
like
Terminator.
70% down from the North Pole. Is that where you're looking?
Jishnu, sorry.
Contact, yes, that is where I'm looking.
Integrity Houston, that is an enabled caution for wastewater dump required. We have hit our limit. As expected, no crew action.
Copy, no crew action.
You are an integrity science. We're trying to figure out what you're looking at there. Is it like right on the Terminator, or is it in the eliminated portion next to the Terminator?
While we wait for a response from the crew, the Terminator is that difference between day and night, or brightness and darkness, that you see on the moon.
Woo!
We see this from the International Space Station as well, looking down at Earth.
And science from integrity, excuse my space orientation adaptation. if you draw a line between Bludigo through the center of Oriental, and then another line from Bludigo through the southern tangent of Oriental, that line
Got some good
would
titles.
almost
Got some good song titles.
intersect tangentially the
Oriental.
crater that I'm talking about. It is on the Terminator. So yeah, I think I'm not looking at the South Pole. I was a little twisted.
That line description was really helpful. I have eyes on the SIR right now, and they are actively discussing lunar geography. We will be back with you shortly.
Hell yeah. Woo! Let's go.
You're hearing a couple of voices today in Mission Control Houston. One of those is Dr. Kelsey Young.
Integrity Science, we believe that's Demon Crater.
Demon Crater?
Oh, I'm further away from the speaker. Say it again, please.
We believe that that is Zeeman Crater.
Zeeman? Zeeman?
Zeeman. Okay, and can you say the first letter? I may be pronouncing that wrong. What's the first letter of that word?
Zulu. It's Zeeman.
Z-Man.
Copy. Thank you for that. Yes, we've got a great view of that. And when I went back to the window just now, the view has completely changed. Our trajectory is taking us to a new view, and I'm looking more into Babylon. I've got a nice, great view into Babylon. I'm actually away from the window right now. So
Why
I'm
aren't
trying
we
to give you
seeing?
some bounding words on the view that we're seeing, but I've got to get back to a window in a minute.
Understood, Victor. You're defining new views of the moon in more ways than one.
This is where the speculation comes from, dude. Why aren't we seeing this in real time?
Again, when you hear calls down to science or from science,
There's
that's
no
Dr.
reason why
Kelsey
we
Young,
shouldn't
the
be able to
Artemis
see.
Science Flight Operations Lead here at a console in Mission Control.
Anything
You
could just
also
say
hear communications with the crew from Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jenny Gibbons. She is the Capcom for today. She is a backup Artemis 2 crew member. Those calls from pilot Victor Glover asking about a feature he was seeing, specifically a crater on the moon. Meanwhile, the team here in the science evaluation room was actively working together to determine which feature he was describing. The teams at the window have continued to move through their targets, including Ohm, Aristarchus Plateau, Reiner Gamma, and we are preparing for the cabin and window teams to swap. That's when we'll hear more from Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen when they take on these support roles, while Christina Cook and Victor Glover are at the windows photographing and annotating. As we briefly mentioned, if you look towards the right side of the moon, essentially, this live view coming from a camera outside the Orion spacecraft, and if you look on the right side of the moon where you see those dark patches.
Wow, yeah, I wish I had some more time to just sit here and describe what I'm seeing, but the Terminator right now is just fantastic. It is the most rugged that I've seen it from a lighting perspective. There are little islands. There are islands of terrain out there that are completely surrounded by darkness, which indicates some real variation in terrain. Up to the north, there is a very nice double crater. It looks like a snowman sitting there, in the 5-10 degrees below the pole in the Terminator. And then on the southern edge, there's almost like a hole. Looks like a hole, and it's the diameter of Vavilov size, just blackness. and then a wall of bright, and then it goes back to the black beyond the Terminator. So there's it looks like there's just a gigantic hole right there. One Babylon diameter east of the Terminator. And as you go south, the Terminator is not in the size, it's just blackness. Almost and then a degree turn in the shadow as opposed to the nice smooth arc, again indicating some really interesting
we're all getting
variations. And I'm sure we'll get some photos of that. And then one of the craters further to the south of Babylon, maybe halfway down to the South Pole, is not only it looks like it's a deep hole, and then there's like two island rays pointing off to the west and north that indicate very high ridges and very deep canyons coming up out of that crater. So again, just some really interesting visual illusions going on with the shadows there. Like I said, they look to be islands out beyond the Terminator, because some of the things, maybe even a Babylon diameter into the Terminator are catching sunlight on the peaks up to the north and to the south. It's very, very interesting to see.
Integrity science. Oh my gosh, that was an amazing picture you just painted. I glanced over at the CERT video and I literally saw fist pumps in the air. Those types of observations are things that humans are uniquely able to contribute, and you just really brought us along with you. So thanks for that.
That's awesome, Kelsey. Did you get a SIGREP updating you on a slight change in logistics for PCD use?
Christina, this is Houston. We did not, but we will take it now.
We slightly changed the PCD plan for the window observers. The two window observers kept their PCD. So in other words, the one that window 2, which was all observers keeping the same PCD for all observations.
Copy, Christina. That makes sense to us, and good plan. We are coming up here on a cabin and window team swap. Let me know when you're ready for a quick vehicle status.
Woo, no.
As you heard, science.
Go for the vehicle system update.
Howdy, Reed. We don't have much for you. We just wanted to let you know that toilet right now is no-go for use as we stick with the predetermined limit.
No toilet.
For now, all crew members, please use CCUs. Otherwise, Orion is looking very
Bags.
good. And you have 15 minutes in this
CCU.
handover time where we expect
Means
Victor and Christina to switch to the windows and you and Jeremy to be in the cabin assisting. Let us know if you have any questions.
ooh. No more pooping. That's what that means.
No questions at all. They're in the swap right now. The first thing I'll tell you, I floated up to the docking hatch window and what I'm going to call the Mari around Oriental just looks so different out the docking hatch right now. It's quite a bit darker. It's the same darkness, if not a little darker than Grimaldi, but it's cool after just being in the 400 mil for the last half hour. looking up close, I got pictures of everything Ike was just describing on the Terminator. It really is a fascinating Terminator. And then the Oriental just looks so dynamic right now. It's very three-dimensional on the docking hatch compared to what I was just looking at through the 400 mil.
We love it. We are
Love
getting a
it.
sneak preview from one of our SAW cameras of what you're looking at, and we see some of what you're describing. We cannot wait to see your photos. Thanks.
Yeah, Jenny, I wish you had some longer lenses on the solar array so you could see the whole moon, but it is, or the up close moon, not the whole moon, but it is just fascinating here. It's so cool.
All right, MPO and Inco.
Okay,
take
so
notes.
they're
We want to
they're
zoom lens
further
on those
back.
saws next time. Thanks,
Okay, I
Dave.
think I understand this now. They're further back from the moon. That's that shot we keep seeing.
Affirmative.
And then they're zoomed in with their camera lenses. That's what's happening. So they're not getting like right up against it.
As the crew gets ready to
They're
switch
going to,
positions
I
from the
think.
window crew going back to the support crew,
I hope
and the
so.
support crew flying
I
up
really
to the
hope
windows.
so.
This view inside the room, Capcom Jenny Gibbons speaking with the crew, Canadian Space Agency astronaut. The crew has continued to provide excellent descriptions of what they are seeing on the lunar surface. In this picture, or in this live view actually, from Orion and a camera mounted on its solar array wing, if you look at the dark portion on the right side of the screen, those are visible from Earth. That's considered the near side. Those are ancient lava flows from a time early in the moon's history when it was volcanically active. If you look towards the left, there's that dark, large crater that appears above, to the left of those lava flows. That's Oriental Basin. It's about 600 miles wide, and it straddles the moon's near and far side. And this mission is the first time that humans have ever been able to see this with their eyes in the daylight.
Woo! One small step for man.
Again, you hear conversation about that
One
Terminator.
giant
You have a
leap for
great view of
mankind.
that as well. That's the difference between light and darkness on the moon. Victor Glover explaining that as a very jagged looking Terminator due to the peaks that they're seeing and the craters that they're seeing as they prepare to cross over the far side. You also heard science officer, the Dr. Kelsey Young, Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, sharing with Victor Glover that his responses are truly something that only human eyes can discern or provide. So we've previously discussed how having humans observing the moon on this mission is being combined with lunar robotic data to help us maximize what we know about the moon. So part of that data comes from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, or LRO. This orbiter provides the robotic foundation that makes Artemis 2 lunar science possible. LRO has been orbiting the moon for 17 years, which makes it the longest operated lunar orbiter in history. It's also the only American spacecraft dedicated specifically to lunar science and exploration. Artemis 2 lunar observations are designed to complement data like the detailed surface images from LRO. So while LRO provides those detailed high-resolution maps of the moon's surface, the Artemis 2 crew adds human observations that focus on regional context and relationships between features, giving scientists a larger geologic picture. Now, this combination of robotic and human observations strengthens lunar science. LRO delivers precise and repeatable measurements over long periods of time, while the Artemis 2 crew contributes real-time visual descriptions and context that robotic instruments alone cannot provide. The best description I've heard while preparing for this mission is to compare the difference in looking at the moon with your own eyes on Earth and trying to take a picture with a camera. The camera truly never does it justice, and it's much easier to describe and perceive what you're seeing with your own eyes than to take a photo. These Artemis 2 astronauts can rapidly scan wide areas and adjust their focus in real time, as well as describe relationships between features. The crew will also observe the same regions multiple times under changing lighting conditions during the flyby and provide perspectives that would take robotic missions years to accumulate. During the Artemis 2 mission, LRO is also attempting to observe some of the same lunar features that the astronauts are studying. Collecting this data simultaneously highlights how different instruments and human eyes provide complementary information about the moon. This LRO data plays a direct role in preparing for future Artemis missions. Its measurements of topography, surface temperature, composition, radiation, and lighting conditions are used to assess hazards, identify safe landing sites, and locate potential resources such as water ice near the lunar South Pole. This mission, Artemis 2, represents the point where years of robotic preparation are paired with human exploration for the first time in the Artemis era. So together, LRO, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and Artemis 2 are demonstrating how NASA moved from mapping the moon robotically to exploring it with humans. We are laying the groundwork for future Artemis missions and sustained lunar operations. A check-in with Orion. We are now 4 days, 21 hours, and 22 minutes into the flight of Artemis 2, our crew aboard the Orion spacecraft. We are now 8,153 miles away from the moon, 250,742 miles away from Earth. The spacecraft is traveling at 1,030 miles per hour.
Okay. Kind of a weird thing today, practice-wise. Kind of noodling around, but I wanted to watch the moon landing. I thought it would, not moon landing, but the moon mission. And it's been cool to watch it, but I'll probably still have it on, but I'm definitely going to have to probably hop off here. I've been on it for a couple hours. So. Anyway, not much going on anyway. But it's cool. It's cool. Everybody's cool.
We're all good. It's all good. It's all good, bro.